Johnny Dollar.
Reed here at Floyd's of England.
Georgie, how are you?
I beg your pardon?
George Reed, Floyd's of England?
Oh, no, Mr. Dollar. No, this is Geoffrey Reed. I'm George's younger brother.
Oh, I didn't know he had one.
Oh, yes, indeed. What's more, I've taken over here, in George's place, so to speak.
What's happened to him?
Well, he's been reassigned to the Home Office, back in London.
Oh, I see.
Yes, well-deserved promotion for him. He'll be in charge of all foreign business out of the Home Office, yes.
That big bum.
Eh? I beg your pardon?
I mean, for running off without telling me, without giving me a chance to throw him a farewell party or something.
Oh, well, you see, it was quite sudden.
Well, it must have been. George and I got to be pretty good friends, over the years. We worked a lot of cases together.
Yes, so he informed me. He also informed me, Mr.
Some of them were pretty wild, though, I must say, like the insurance on a pair of singing mice, on stolen ambergris from a totally non-existent whale.
Some
pretty wild ones. I mean, policies he never had any business issuing. So he's going back to Old England,
yes, he also informed me... Yes, just a few days ago. And as I started...
Son of a gun, I'll miss the old boy. You know something, Geoffrey?
Please, Mr.
He was the only insurance man I ever knew... Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I have interrupted you, haven't I?
He also... George, that is... also informed me that if I were to run into any difficulties that... of an unusual nature...
Yes?
That, shall we say that... shouldn't be called to the attention of the police, that I need never hesitate to call upon you.
Uh-oh. What kind of crazy coverage is that company of yours given this time?
It's a policy George wrote himself.
Oh, then I shudder.
And I dare say you can hardly call this one crazy, Mr. Dollar. That is, when you consider it will require paying out some 100,000 of your American dollars.
On what?
On the life... or I should say the return of a little child.
Return of a Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about a kidnapping?
Yes, I am.
Well, have you called in the police, the FBI?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
Because the most explicit terms of the policy...
What are you talking about? What's an insurance policy got to do with whether or not you bring in the proper authorities?
Everything, Mr. Dollar.
Don't you understand, Reed, that kidnapping is a federal offense? Listen, give me the names involved. I'll notify the FBI myself.
No. That is the one thing you must not do.
Now, listen to me.
Now, please, Mr. Dollar, come over here and read the policy. Let me give you the facts of the case. I shall try to have the father over here to see and talk with you. And I think you'll change your mind about calling in the FBI.
Well, that I doubt very much. But okay, Mr. Reed. I'll be there in a few minutes.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Mandel Kramer and the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Floyd's of England, North American Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Shifty Looker matter. Expense account item 1. $4.30 for the inevitable tank full of gas. I always seem to find it empty when I have to use my car in a hurry. I drove downtown to Reed's office in the Spear Building. Geoffrey looked very much like his brother George, for whom I've handled so many investigations over the years, but he sounded far more British. Also, he seemed to have the knack of getting to the point by the longest possible way around.
He also informed me, Mr. Dollar, that I should keep, shall we say, a rather wary eye on your expense account.
Oh, yes, but...
that it might tend to get somewhat out of hand on occasion.
Well, let's not worry about that just now.
And I know, now that I've taken over this office, I fully appreciate how you may feel about some of the policies George issued during his tenure of office here. And I'm afraid this is one of them.
Well, suppose you tell me what happened.
The fact remains that by virtue of having written some of these, shall we say, rather unusual policies, He was able to build up the company's North American business to a wholly unprecedented extent.
Yes, we know that, Jeffrey, but about this kidnapping...
As a matter of fact, it was his outstanding record here that earned him the privilege of returning to the home office of...
Jeffrey, let's get to the business at hand, shall we?
Oh, yes, of course. Do you mind if I use the typical American familiarity and call you Johnny, as I understand you're...
You can call me anything you like if you'll only get to the point.
Very well. And first, Johnny, I must insist that you read the terms of the policy covering the Looker child.
Looker?
Yes, just what it sounds like. Looker. Cynthia Looker, and her father's name is Stephen.
Stephen Looker. Steve Looker.
Why do you say it that way?
I'm not sure, really. Somewhere in the back of my mind... Oh, forget it. Now, what happened?
Well, Mr. Looker and his child have residence at the old Wakefield Towers. He's retired, I understand. At least according to the policy.
Looker.
I beg your pardon?
No, nothing. Go on.
Well, he called me just before I called you. That is, I called you after checking over this policy, as he insists I do.
Yes, well?
It seems that he spent last evening, up to the wee small hours, with some friends, leaving his daughter Cynthia alone in the apartment.
How old is Cynthia?
7.
Go on.
When he returned early this morning, she was gone.
Well, now, that doesn't necessarily mean that she was kidnapped.
Oh, but I'm afraid it does, Johnny.
Was there a ransom note?
A ransom message, rather, on a tape recording device attached to his telephone, demanding $100,000.
I see.
By some coincidence, that is exactly the amount specified in the policy. Now, read it, please.
He insured her specifically against kidnapping?
It provides for immediate payment in cash in unmarked bills of any amount up to and including $100,000 that may be demanded by the kidnappers.
But look here, Jeff.
It also states that under no circumstances are the press, the police, the FBI, or any other recognized law enforcement agency to be brought in until Mr. Looker has had ample opportunity to attempt payment of the ransom, and if possible, achieve return of the child. I told you it was unusual, Johnny.
Unusual? It's highly illegal, too.
Be that as it may, we are bound by its terms.
Well, then why call me in?
Well, fortunately, you are not one of the agencies of the law referred to.
Why under the sun would George ever issue a policy like this?
I told you, Johnny.
Yes, you told me. When was it issued?
Shortly after little Cynthia was born, which happened to be shortly after the Beeler kidnapping and the abduction and subsequent murder of the Hammerthwaite child. As you may remember, the Hammerthwaites refused to pay the ransom.
Yes, I do remember them both.
Well, can you blame Mr. Looker, then, for wanting such protection for Cynthia?
When is the money supposed to be paid? Did he tell you that?
Yes, tonight.
Where and how?
I don't know.
Where is Looker now?
On his way over here.
To pick up the money?
Yes, I have it all ready for him. But now, if he should find you here... Excuse me. Yes?
Mr. Looker is here to see you, Mr. Reed.
Well, just a moment, Sarah. Johnny.
I work here. I'm the one who had to go out and pick up the cash.
Oh, good. Very well, Sarah. Send him in, please.
Yes, sir.
Also, Jeff.
Yes?
I'm the one who's going to try to keep that cash from ever being paid out. The terms of that policy notwithstanding.
Well, now, look, Johnny. Oh, come in, Mr. Looker. Come in.
There was something familiar about Stephen Looker. The more I watched him and listened to him, the more I was sure of it. When Jeffrey Reed introduced me as an associate, he protested that it was a breach of the confidence stipulated in the insurance policy. But of course, it was too late to do anything about it. He simply warned me that if I, or Jeff either for that matter, if we made any attempt to contact the authorities, he'd have our heads, and I think he meant just exactly that.
Because I know about those dirty, rotten kidnappings. I've read all about them, so have you. And you know what happens if you don't do exactly what they say.
Well, don't believe everything you read, Mr. Looker.
It's easy for you to say, Mr. Dollar, is it?
Yes.
Because it isn't your kid, but I don't follow out their orders exactly in every way. They'll kill her. I know they will.
Now, wait a minute.
Wait, nothing. Cynthia's all I got in my life. She's the most wonderful kid alive, the sweetest, the prettiest, the most lovingest little. She's all I got, don't you understand? And neither you or anybody else is going to let them take her away from me.
Mr. Looker, if you pay off once, don't you know that they'll try it again?
Not on me, they won't. Because I and Cynthia will be far away. You think I'd stay in a place like this, a country like this, after that?
Mr. Looker...
No. Don't try. Argue with me. It won't do any good. Just give me the money. Let me pay him off and get her back.
Well, of course, we are faced with the matter of proof.
Proof? What are you talking about?
Proof that she was actually kidnapped.
What more kind of proof you want than this? You said you got a tape machine here in your office, Mr. Reed?
Yes, I have. Right over there.
Then put this on and play it back for this doubting Thompson or whatever he calls himself. Play back this tape recording and he'll see.
Very well, I shall.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just take me a moment to get it warmed up and ready.
Mr. Looker, why do you have your phone conversations taped?
Why not? Just a habit from the business I was in before I retired.
Oh? What kind of business?
Look, can't you think of anything better to do than ask a lot of silly questions at a time like this?
Well, it's something you'd rather not talk about.
Okay, it was radio and electrical stuff and tape recorders, that sort of thing.
I see.
When my wife died, rest her soul, right after Cynthia was born, and we come here to live in peace, I wasn't working anymore. Well, any reason why I shouldn't rig up a gadget to answer the phone while I was out? And rig it so as it could take down a message for me?
Does it also record conversations when you answer the phone?
Sure, if I wanted to. Why not?
I just wondered. I mean, outside of a business where it might be wise to have orders or contracts or legal commitments recorded.
I said I'm retired.
The only reason I can think of for an individual would be if he expects to be threatened or something and wants a record of it for the police.
Expects?
I mean, suppose he had contacts with people of questionable reputation.
What?
All ready when you are, gentlemen.
Then go ahead and start the tape. You wanted proof, Dollar. Now you'll get it.
All ready?
Right.
Very well. Hello, this is a recording. Hello. I'm not in right now, but any message you want to leave will be kept on tape for me when I get back. Go right ahead with your message. Well, that's real good. So listen, Mr. Looker. We got your baby, your little Cynthia. She's okay, she's alive and comfortable.
The kidnapper, Johnny.
Now,
Wait, Jeff.
you do exactly what we tell you to, you'll get her back again tonight. You don't, you'll never see her alive. Now, all you gotta do is this. Get hold of 100 G's unmarked. You get that? Unmarked. And when you turn it over to us, we turn over the kid to you. We'll even let you get a look at her a couple of seconds before you hand us the money so you'll know we're on the level and she's okay.
Well, at least they...
But I want to warn you. Deliver the dough alone and don't try anything funny. If you call on the cops or anybody else, all you'll ever see is a dead body.
They would. They'd kill my little girl.
Wait, Mr.
All you gotta do is this. Tonight, Mr. Looker. Tonight. Tomorrow's gonna be too late. You put the dough in a regular paper bag, see? And exactly 11 o'clock tonight...
Stop the machine.
Bring it to the...
I'm taking no chances that you or anybody else can interfere.
He does have a point there, Johnny. If anyone interferes...
You bet I got a point.
All right. But, of course, the tape will have to be left here as evidence, Mr. Looker.
After I paid over the money. After I got my Cynthia back, then you can have it. Then, if you want somebody to try and chase down these dirty crooks. That's up to you. But not until I get my little girl back.
Well, now, when you do get her back, since we're paying out all this money, you must let me know immediately.
Don't you worry. The second I get her back to the apartment, I'll call you. I'll have her talk to you so you'll be sure.
That's the Wakefield Tower.
That's right.
Good. They have a switchboard there.
What's the difference?
Well, as long as you make the call from there, from your own apartment, there'll be a record of it.
Splendid. And that will suffice for the evidence we'll need before we call in the police.
Okay. I'll do it just like you say. Now, give me the money, and the both of you better pray a little bit.
As soon as he left us, I took off after him on what proved to be the most unsuccessful tailing job you ever heard of. Within less than 5 minutes, I'd lost him completely. And why? Because he must have known it. He must have been afraid of what might happen to his daughter if somebody else tagged along with him. Or was it? Because it was just about then, a little bell in the back of my head suddenly rang out loud and clear. Steve Looker. Shifty Looker. To make sure, I passed up a couple of red lights to get to the public library before it closed. There in the old newspaper files, I found it. A story from September of 1954, Dateline Chicago. When they rounded up the old Maroney mob and took him to trial, only one man got off without a prison term. The one they called Shifty Looker, alleged to be the man who kept his pals informed about the cops by means of a clever, elaborate radio hookup, who jammed the police radio frequency whenever the gang was pulling a job. He got off the hook because he turned state's evidence, but Maroney, who drew a 7-year stretch, swore he'd get even. And Maroney had also been suspected of kidnapping. By the time I walked out of that library, the bell in the back of my brain was clanging like a fire alarm. Item 2, a dime for a call to police headquarters.
Maroney? Stinky Maroney?
That's right, Lieutenant.
Sure, you had a little organization out in Chicago.
Yes, I know.
Drew a 7-year stretch.
Do you know if he's out?
Well, I can check on it, Johnny. Might take me a couple of hours, though.
Lieutenant, I'll be sitting on your doorstep.
If you ever suffer a touch of arthritis or rheumatism and you've never tried Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub, you can't know how good its deep heating action can make you feel. As you massage it into painful areas, you feel its deep heating action. You know relief is on its way. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub is an extra strong combination of active ingredients for safe temporary relief of minor arthritic rheumatic pain. Use greaseless, stainless Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub often.
Well, Lieutenant?
Johnny, I've been staring at that teletype machine out there until I can't see straight. Still no word. Come on, boy. Sure you don't want to tell me what this is all about?
Sorry, Lieutenant.
Now, wait a minute. Are you thinking maybe Maroney might have some reason for coming here to Hartford?
I didn't say that.
Now, listen, Johnny, we've known each other too long. If you think that maybe Maroney has some reason for... Oh, now, hold the phone.
What's that supposed to
Do
mean?
you by any chance just happen to know that one of his ex-pals just happens to be living here now?
No kidding.
That didn't sound very convincing, Johnny.
I don't know why not.
But his name is Stephen Looker. You know him?
Looker? Should I?
The one member of the mob that got off scot-free. Been here for years now, behaving like an angel. He and his little girl. So we haven't bothered him. But
Yeah, but what?
Maroney had a grudge against him. Swore he'd get him.
So?
You know the worst thing Maroney could possibly do to Steve Looker?
Should I?
Well, if you really don't know him, I guess not. But I'll tell you, Johnny, the worst thing would be for him to harm that little girl. Money? No, Looker hasn't got much. But if one hair of his little girl's head is touched, listen, He's been a mother and a father and everything else to that pretty little kid. And like I say, he's kept his nose clean here in Hartford. So if Maroney is out... Okay, I know what I'm going to do.
What, Lieutenant?
Put a 24-hour watch over Steve Looker and the kid, beginning right now.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, what for? Conroy,
Will you
come in
take
here.
it easy for a minute?
Oh, you mean that's why you're so concerned about Maroney?
I didn't say that.
Then I'm saying it. Of course it is. But it's a police matter, Johnny.
Listen, Lieutenant.
So you just leave it up to me. Conroy! You call me, Lieutenant? Yeah? Come in here. Right, sir. Oh, and here's the telly you were waiting for.
Good, let me see it.
Oh. And, what do you want me for, Lieutenant?
You, Conroy, not a thing. Not yet, that is. Not for a couple of weeks, so relax.
Huh?
The teletype, Lieutenant.
Johnny, you can relax, too.
What do you mean?
Your friend Maroney doesn't get out of the pen until the 1st of next month.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, Conroy, that's all. Yes, sir. Yes, Johnny, you can just relax for 2 solid weeks.
I guess that teletype knocks a theory of mine. Oh, smoke. How blind can I be?
Now, listen, Johnny.
I'll see you later. Blind is right. Was it Maroney's imminent release from prison that gave him the idea? Or was it something that he planned all along? And now that Maroney was getting out, he was afraid to wait any longer. Anyhow, it all added up, and much too well. Steve Looker had no money. So how could a kidnapper expect anybody to come up with $100,000 in less than 24 hours? Unless he knew about that insurance policy. But that policy was a deep, dark secret. Yet by some coincidence, that ransom message demanded just exactly 100 G's. Coincidence? And his defensive attitude when he found me there in Jeffrey's office. Of course. He must have known who and what I am. As for his crack that after this was over, he and the youngster would be far, far away. Oh, you bet they would, with $100,000 in his kick. I didn't know where he'd hidden his child, away from his apartment for the day. I didn't care. I didn't know whose voice he'd used on the tape recording. I didn't care about that either. But to carry it off without creating suspicion, he would have to make that phone call to Jeff after 11 o'clock from his own apartment so that it would be on record. It also meant that he wouldn't dare pick up Cynthia and take her there until after 11. I tore on over to the Wakefield Towers, took the elevator up to his floor, and then...
Yes? Who is it?
Special delivery, Mr. Looker.
Okay. Oh. What do you want, Dollar?
Just to look at those handbags you're so busy packing.
Wait a minute, Dollar. I told you I and the kid are going to get away from here as soon as I get her back.
I'm sure you would, too, with the 100,000, if you could. Now, just let's have a look at these bags, huh?
You're crazy, Dollar. That 100,000 is to pay off the ransom.
Is it, Shifty?
50.
And what's it doing so carefully stashed away? Oh, I see.
Yeah, you see, Dollar. This thing has a silencer on it. You think I didn't know who you are this afternoon? What you were doing there? Think I wouldn't be ready and waiting for you?
And you still thought you could get away with this?
You bet I will. First, I give you one nice slug between the eyes. Right?
Just drop it, Shifty.
Cops.
That's right, cops. Lots of them. Gonna drop it, Shifty?
Oh, sure. I will.
Okay, boys, take him out to the car.
Come on.
And carefully. Watch it.
Well, what brought you here, Lieutenant?
Oh, you didn't spot the tail I put on you when you left headquarters.
Oh, no, I guess I didn't.
Oh, you're slipping, Johnny.
Yeah, but I'm glad you did. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Well, let's see now. Expense account total is exactly $4.40. Okay, Jeffrey, it's perfectly all right. As long as you don't forget my commission on just exactly 100,000 clams. Not bad, For a single day's work? I'll take it any time. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
here's our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, one of the cleverest, most diabolical weapons for murder I've ever seen. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is written by Jack Johnstone. Produced and directed by Bruno Zerato Jr. Music supervision by Ethel Huber. Johnny Dollar is played by Mandel Kramer. Also featured in our cast were Court Benson as Reed, Roger DeKoven as Steve Looker, Carl Frank as the police lieutenant, Ellen Manson as the voice on the tape, Guy Repp as Conroy, and Barbara Cassar as Sarah. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Art Hanna speaking.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Edmund O'Brien as
Johnny Dollar.
Oh, yes. This is Inspector Sailor, Scotland Yard.
Oh, yes, Inspector. Thanks for calling back. I understand you've been assigned to Scott jewel theft investigation?
Yes, Inspector Finley's been taken ill. I was given the case this morning. As a matter of fact, I just received the file with your request to telephone.
Well, that puts us about abreast then, Inspector. I got in from the States last night. I'd like to get together with you so we could compare notes.
Yes, splendid. Could you come to my office?
At your convenience.
Well, then, why don't you come right over? But first, Mr. Dollar, tell me, did the insurance company send you to London in the belief that the yard is no longer competent?
What?
We've been reminded, you know, that our reputation has fallen off badly since the Stone of Scorn is stolen. But perhaps you and I shall have better luck, huh?
Edmund O'Brien in a transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office Financial Surety Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Hatchet House theft matter. Expense account item 1, $432.50, airfare and incidentals between Hartford and London, England. I arrived in the evening and learned by phone that the original inspector assigned to the case had been replaced. The next morning, I was in contact with his replacement, and at 10:30, I was directed to his office.
Here we are, sir. Inspector Sailors?
Yeah?
Mr. Dollar, sir.
Oh, yes. Come in, Mr. Dollar.
Thanks very much.
All right, you are, sir.
Pleasure, Mr. Dollar.
How do you do, Inspector?
Now, speaking to an acquaintance of yours a few moments ago, Inspector Finch.
Oh, yes. Yes, I worked on a case with him over here last year. How is he?
Oh, quite well, thank you. He complimented you quite highly, sir.
Well, that's very nice of him. But as I remember it, I think I was more of a burden than a help to him.
Well, I doubt that. Well, I suppose we should face the situation at hand.
Yeah. I brought an accurate description of all the jewelry insured by Mrs. Scott.
Ah, splendid.
But the cable that reported the theft wasn't quite clear as to which pieces were missing.
Well, Inspector Finley's information on that score is quite accurate, I think. Here we are.
Oh, thank you.
And he's covered the methods used in the commission of the crime quite thoroughly, I think. I'm going to spend the afternoon in Crime Index. I should probably be able to link the method with a few of our known criminals.
Gentleman's investigation, huh?
I suppose so. Rather tedious, but quite often successful.
I'd like to see Mrs. Scott myself, if it's all right with you.
Oh, of course. I shall arrange a car and a driver for you. Will early afternoon be suitable?
Well, thanks, but there's no reason to go to that bother, is there? Isn't she staying here in London?
No, she let a place near Seven Oaks in Surrey, about 20 miles south of here. Quite an historic establishment, I'm told.
It's called Hatchet House.
Before I left London that afternoon, Inspector Sailors and I pooled the few facts we had. I was able to tell him that Mrs. Marcella Scott, reputedly a wealthy Texas widow, was actually slightly on her uppers as far as ready cash went. She had sold some jewelry the previous year for considerably less than its insured value. He gave me the news that Mrs. Scott frequently had been seen in the company of another American tourist named Norman King. And together, we figured the loss at slightly over $100,000. Hatchet House was a medium-sized pile of ivy-draped masonry just on the northern fringe of Seven Oaks. In addition to history, it boasted some seclusion, being set back from the road in the middle of a walled garden. Mrs. Scott was in the village, but was expected back momentarily, and would I care to come in and wait?
The library is quite comfortable if you'd care to go in there.
In a minute, thanks. Your name is Garrett?
Yes, sir.
You've been employed here during Mrs. Scott's whole stay?
Oh, yes, sir. She bought my services from the other side. I'm not without recommendations in Seven Oaks, sir.
And you must know pretty well who's been in the house, at parties and so on.
I'd say so, sir. But they've all been genuine people. Class, you know. I wouldn't say that any of them would stoop to thievery.
How many other servants are there?
2 that live in. There's Millie Hankey, she's a maid. There's old Mr. Minns, he's the gardener. He's got a cottage out back.
Mrs. Scott was entertaining night before last when the jewelry was stolen. Had she hired any extra servants?
No, sir.
Oh, thanks, Garrett.
Oh, there's Millie. Millie, come here, do. Here's an American gentleman to see you.
How do you do, sir?
You're Miss Hankey?
Yes, sir.
He's come all the way from the other side, Millie, about Mrs. Scott's jewels being stolen.
It's a scandal, that's what it is. But I don't suppose you'd say it's the only one.
Watch your tongue, Millie.
Watching it.
I'll be in the pantry, sir, if I can be of any more service to you.
Thanks, Garrett. I will want the names of the people who were here the other night.
Right, sir. I'll write them on a paper.
He's got a nerve telling me to watch my tongue. A scandal's a scandal, genuine people or not, and he knows it.
Just what did you mean, Millie?
I suppose a servant's paid to keep her eyes open and her mouth closed. But I haven't been a servant long. I'm only a village girl from Penrith, but I know right from wrong.
You don't approve of some of the things?
No, I don't. And I'm going to leave when I get married. Maybe next month.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. He's a good man.
I'm sure of that.
So big and strong. Lots of fun. We'll have an inn of our own someday, and I won't have to be a servant anymore.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you, sir.
I want you to know, Millie, that anything you say to me will be kept in strict confidence.
Yes, sir. You look like the honest kind.
Now, what things especially didn't you approve of? Something that's caught your eye could be important.
I don't know, but one thing, being a widow at her age, it's indecent, that's what. And I've seen them making jokes in front of the photo of her poor dead husband. He was older, you know.
Yes, I knew that.
I can't say she hastened his end, but I can't say she's sorry he's buried and gone either.
Who made jokes in front of his photograph?
Mr. King.
Norman King. He was here the night of the theft, wasn't he?
The night of the theft. He's been here more than he's elsewhere. He's a filthy leech, if you ask me. I'm only a country girl, but there's a look in his eyes I didn't mistake. Not for a moment. He's slimy.
I wish you'd think about the party night before last, Millie. You were here on the ground floor through most of it, weren't you?
Yes, sir, the whole drunken time.
I wish you'd try and remember if anybody went upstairs and stayed long enough to have gone into Mrs. Scott's room and forced open the drawer and stolen the jewelry.
I'll try, sir.
Don't mistake me. We aren't sure that's what happened. It could just as well have been an outsider who knew a party was going on and had a way of entry, or even somebody passing by who found the rear door unlocked.
I'll try, sir.
Thanks, Millie. I won't keep you from your work any longer. I'll just wait in the library for Mrs. Scott. I waited an hour until the butler, Garrett, notified me that Marcella Scott had phoned. She had met some friends in the village, had driven to London with them, and wouldn't return until the next morning. I could find her any time after 9 that night at Claridge's Hotel. I spent another 20 minutes with the servants and left for London and Inspector Saylor's office.
Well, I expected you to return before this, Mr. Dollar.
I hope I didn't keep the car and driver too long.
No, not at all. Especially if the time was well spent.
Most of it was wasted. While I waited for Mrs. Scott in Hatchet House, she was on her way to London.
Huh? She's here now?
Claridge's. She came in with friends.
Well, doesn't seem to be upset over her loss, does she?
Nor the loss of her husband either, I take it.
Huh?
I'm interested in the association between her and this Norman King.
I see. Then you did have a talk with Miss Mildred Hankey, the maid,
Yes, I did. Why? Did you?
No. Inspector Finlay did.
What did he say about it?
Well, she suffered from an insane hate or jealousy because of this Mr. Keene.
I didn't see it quite that way.
That she berated the friendship shared by Mrs. Scott and him. This is what he jotted down. Investigate possibility of collusion between Hanky Girl and King.
Well, as I said, I didn't see it that way, but maybe he hit something.
Perhaps.
King's from New York. I'm going to make a phone call, see what I can learn about his background. In the meantime, I hope to meet him. At least I think he's here with Mrs. Scott.
You're going to see her, then?
Her message was that I could any time after 9. I plan to be available about 2 minutes after.
I shall be interested to hear.
Did you get anything from your files?
Nothing. Dreadfully and absolutely nothing.
At 5 minutes before 9, I arrived at Mrs. Scott's hotel. On the stroke of 9, I phoned her suite, and at 3 minutes after, I met her, a striking honey blonde with tanned skin and an athletic figure that dressed her clothes nicely.
I'm sorry I missed you in the country, Mr. Dollar.
It's all right. I should have phoned.
I suppose you're here to save what money you can for the insurance company in case my things aren't recovered.
Insurance companies don't operate that way, Mrs. Scott. They can afford not to.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
It's the expected thing, I guess, but I suspect one of the servants had something to do with it.
Do you have any special reason for that suspicion?
Oh, they're strange people. I don't know anything about them. I've had them 2 months, and I've never been comfortable with them around me.
Anything else?
Well, the more I've thought of it, the more it seems to make sense. The house was full of people to be suspected. One of them could have taken advantage of that.
The men at Scotland Yard say that it took between 15 and 20 minutes to force that drawer open the way it was done. Did you miss either of your servants for that length of time?
Not that I remember. It got a little confused by 11 or so.
Do you suspect anybody else? Any of your guests?
Oh, good Lord, no. Most of them have a lot more than I do.
Did you know Norman King in the States, or did you meet him here?
Are you telling me suspect Norman?
I asked when you met him.
Why?
I wondered if you knew him well enough to know he has a record as a forger.
I don't believe it.
Checks. He signed the name of another widow. Copy of the record is being mailed to me.
I don't care. Doesn't make any difference. Norman didn't steal my jewelry. He wouldn't do that to me.
I wonder how many times the other widow said that.
You don't understand me. Norman and I are the same kind of people. You don't think I married a 70-year-old Texan for love, do you? Well, Norman's made up his mind what he wants out of life, too. He's talked about it. He doesn't care how he gets it, but he wouldn't take it from me.
Sure. Well, I wanted to meet you, Mr. Scott, and I have. Norman King checked into the Dorchester yesterday. He checked out today, and now Scotland Yard can't find him. If you hear from him, maybe you'd better let us know. Johnny Dollar.
Inspector Sailor.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry I took so long to answer. I just got up to my room.
Yes, I spoke to the clerk at the desk. He thought you might be going up now, asked him to ring. You saw Mrs. Scott?
Yes, I didn't learn much, but I don't think she's mixed up in it.
No. Well, perhaps I have some news for you.
What's that?
I just received a report of a killing in Limehouse. The constable described a piece of jewelry found at the scene, and it corresponds quite closely to the description of Mrs. Scott's emerald brooch.
Oh? Who was killed?
No identification yet. A man. I'm driving over. I wondered if you'd like me to pick you up.
Yes, I would. I'll be waiting in front of my hotel.
We will return you to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in just a moment. What is the secret of Dr. Walter? Sorry, we don't have the answer, but we know where it can be found. Tomorrow night over most of these same CBS stations, with a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. The unique theater of thrills called Suspense looks into the eerie matter of Dr. Walter's private life. Another thrilling CBS suspense drama tomorrow night. And now with our star, Edmund O'Brien, we return you to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
By the time we got to the dismal Coldwater flat near the Thames, the inevitable crowd had gathered in the street. The body was one flight up in a grubby room that showed plenty of signs that a struggle had taken place. The man obviously had been killed by a blow on the back of the head. He'd been identified by the landlady as George Kenzie, the renter of the room.
It was a bootblack who discovered the body. Said this George Kenzie owed him some money and wouldn't pay. He came up here tonight and found him dead. I found the brooch myself just under the chair there, sir. Oh, yes. Thank you, Constable. Right, sir. I'll be outside. Here now, you people that don't belong here. Don't crowd the corridor. Move along now. Come along. Move along.
Is there any doubt in your mind, Mr. Dollar, that this is Mrs. Scott's brooch?
Not at all. Look, the jeweler's mark on the back.
Well, then, we've made some progress. I hardly think we'll be so fortunate as to find the 4 remaining pieces here.
No. Offhand, it looks like there was trouble over dividing the loot, and the winner took the rest, don't you think?
Quite possibly. Norman King?
I'd feel better if he was found.
So would I. Matter of fact, I wish you'd keep your American criminals in America. We've quite enough to keep us busy without them.
Get your hands off me.
Hello.
I haven't done nothing. I've gone to Mr. Kinsey's digs of me own free will, and I don't need no help from nobody.
Not half, you don't. Miss Glory Stokes, Inspector. She said she'd come to pay a visit to Mr. Kinsey, but she made off the other way when she heard the news.
Well, come in, Miss Stokes.
I will not. Not with him lying there like that.
Very well. Constable, ask Miss Stokes if she'll please accompany you to the yard. Mr. Dollar and I will see her there.
I suppose it's understood that when you're with Scotland Yard, you do as Scotland Yard does. We didn't search the place, but we learned it was empty of any more jewelry after a crew of technical men collected every possible bit of physical evidence in the room and started it towards the yard's various laboratories. The results of their meticulous tests, comparisons, and examination fell into place later. We asked a few questions there without getting anything, and then went back to the inspector's office, where Glory Stokes waited for us.
It's time, I must say.
I trust we haven't kept you waiting too long. This is Mr. Dollar, American investigator.
How do you do?
What would he be investigating that would concern me?
We'll explain the whole thing to you, Miss Stokes.
It ain't Miss Stokes. But something tells me I'm going to wish it was.
You're married?
I am. That's why I was going to George Kinsey's. I haven't seen me hubby for 3 days. And I was going to ask George if he knew where the rotter was.
What's your husband's name?
Leonard Stokes.
You haven't seen him in 3 days.
That's right.
Couldn't he give you any idea where he was going?
No, why should he? I don't care where he goes, and he knows it.
But you said you were looking for him.
I was. If he's going to desert his poor wife, she's got a right to know, hasn't she?
Yeah, I suppose she has.
I take it he spent quite a lot of time with this George Kinsey.
Too much, if you ask me. George was no good. He was a thief. I knew he'd end up dead like this. And if I told Leonard once, I told him 100 that he'd get into trouble if he chummed with him. He is in trouble. Ain't he in trouble?
We aren't sure yet, Mrs. Stokes.
What kind of trouble?
Some jewelry was stolen from a woman in Seven Oaks.
Jewels, oh,
One of the pieces was found in George Kinsey's room. There's still almost $100,000 worth missing.
More than 30,000 pounds, Mrs. Stokes.
30,000? George did that?
Looks like it.
There's a possibility that your husband was involved also.
Leonard? Ah, don't make me laugh. He wouldn't have the brain.
The next morning, armed with pictures of both Stokes and the dead man, Inspector Sailors and I drove back to Seven Oaks. He dropped me at Hatchet House and went on to cover the village himself. Mrs. Scott received me in the library.
Good morning, Mr. Dollar.
Mrs. Scott, you must have left London early this morning.
Yes, I did. Have you made any progress?
Some, yes. Have you heard anything?
I was very unhappy after you left last night.
Why? Did you suddenly get lonesome for your jewels?
I think you know why. I made a confession to you. I let you see what I really am. I never do that.
It's all in confidence. Forget it.
I've been trying to. I got a radiogram from Norman King. It arrived here late yesterday afternoon.
Did you notify Scotland Yard?
No, I know you asked me to, but I didn't think it was necessary. He's on his way back to New York. He wouldn't do that with stolen jewelry, would he?
It would be stupid, but I'll want the name of the ship.
I'll give it to you. He inferred that he knew his record would come to light because of the theft and that he'd feel better leaving England before he was asked to leave. He's a stupid, irresponsible dunce.
Yeah. I have some photographs I want you to look at. Here, I'll spread them out on the table.
Who are they?
Pictures of this man may not be quite lifelike because he was dead when they were taken.
Who is he?
His name is George Kenzie. He was found beaten to death last night. Your emerald brooch was on the floor near him, so we're assuming he was killed because of your jewelry. You ever seen this man around here?
No, not that I remember.
I want you to remember one way or the other. It's possible that this man just received the stolen property from someone else, but if we can find somebody in the house or in the village who recognizes him, then we'll feel sure that he actually was the thief, or one of them anyway.
I'm trying to be sure.
What about the other one?
I don't think I've seen either of them.
And if you'll leave the room, I'd like to talk to your servants.
You're going out of your way to be nasty. You thoroughly despise me, don't you?
No. What I dislike is the fact that the physical part of you wasn't matched up with some mental apparatus that deserved it. You asked me a personal question, Mrs. Scott. I want you to look at the photographs and think. It's important that we find out if you have ever seen either of these men in Seven Oaks.
Which one is deceased, sir?
This one.
How large was he?
A little under 6 feet. Miss Hankey?
I don't like looking at them, sir. I don't think I've seen either one of them, though.
There's something about this one, sir.
George Kenzie?
Was he plump?
No, I don't think you'd say plump. He was heavy, stocky.
There's something about him, sir. Can't put my finger quite on it, but there's something.
Could he have made deliveries here?
Who brought the luggage, Millie, the day after Mrs. Scott arrived?
Oh, I don't think it was him. Or this one either. They had their own lorry with a sign on it. Have you forgot?
I'm sure of it, sir. There's something about this one, but I can't remember what.
Well, thanks very much, both of you. If you do remember something, please notify Scotland Yard. In the village, Inspector Sailors had found a few people who thought they recognized George Kenzie and 2 who were positive. None of them had recognized Leonard Stokes. So by the time we had left Seven Oaks, we were fairly sure that Kenzie had been actively involved. But since he was dead, being sure didn't mean any progress. Nothing further developed that day, although in London a stream of suspects was questioned. The next morning, the situation hadn't changed, but I began to feel that in the face of the movement of Scotland Yard, a criminal would have to have more than brains and more than luck to escape. At 2 that afternoon, a report was phoned in that a man answering the description of Leonard Stokes had been seen boarding a train in Waterloo Station and followed to his compartment. Another call delayed the train so that Inspector Sailors and I were able to get aboard.
Here we are. If you don't mind, Mr. Dollar.
It's your island, Inspector.
Yes, thank you. Scotland Yard.
What?
Are you Leonard Stokes?
Am I who? No, I'm not.
Who are you then, sir?
Well, I don't see how you've a right to
You must have identification. Let me see it, please.
All right. I'm Leonard Stokes. Who's he?
An American, Mr. Dollar, sent here to recover Mrs. Scott's stolen property.
You know where it is, Stokes?
Answer him.
It's all right. All right, I know when I'm beat. Yes, I know where it is. But I didn't kill George.
How did you know he was dead, Mr. Stokes?
Well, I tried to telephone him. That's how I found out.
He was killed because of the jewelry, wasn't he, Stokes?
I don't know. I don't know why he was killed.
When was the last time you saw him, Mr. Stokes?
Tuesday night.
You went to Seven Oaks?
I went to Seven Oaks, yes. Look, I'm willing to cooperate. Inspector, I'll tell you my part of it.
Well, that will make it a great deal less difficult for all of us.
Yes, sir. Well, he asked me to go to Seven Oaks with him. I didn't know what he was up to. I thought we was just going for a little drive.
Out of 5 pieces missing, Stokes, we found 1 in Kenzie's room. Now, if you know where the rest of them are, you must have known what he was up to.
Well, if I had, I wouldn't have gone. That's the truth. Before I knew it, he stopped off at this Hatchet house, and
Told me to wait in the motor.
He must have explained why he stopped.
Well, he said he had a friend to see, a gardener.
Gardener at Hatchet House?
That's what he told me. He came back in a while, and then we drove off.
And you still didn't know what was happening?
No.
When did you?
When it was too late. On the road back to London, he told me. He told me whether I knew it or not, I'd just stolen some jewels. Well, I thought he was joking. Then he showed them to me, and he says, "Who's going to believe you, Len boy, when you say you didn't know nothing about it?" Oh, what could I do?
What did you do?
I drove back to London.
Why was there only one piece of jewelry in Kenzie's room?
Well, that's all he took. Said he wanted to give it to a chum.
And you took care of the rest of it?
Well, I was afraid to do anything else, sir. He kept telling me I was complicated in it.
Stokes' innocence, as far as the robbery was concerned, became a little embarrassing even to him by the time we got him off the train and back to Scotland Yard. But his denial of any knowledge of Kenzie's murder was borne out, A, by an alibi that proved him innocent, and B, the result of one of the laboratory tests mentioned earlier. Traces of lip rouge found on the dead man's clothing pointed the way to the murderer.
Mrs. Scott is resting in her room and left orders not to be disturbed.
We won't disturb her, Garrett. Is Miss Hankey here?
She's in the pantry, sir.
Would you show us?
This way, please.
Thank you, Garrett.
Oh, Mr. Dollar.
This is Inspector Sailors from Scotland Yard, Miss Hankey.
Miss Hankey?
How do you do? You've come after me, haven't you?
Yes, I think we have.
I don't mind. I don't care about anything now.
You did recognize the photographs of George Kenzie, didn't you?
Recognize them? Yes, I suppose so. I remembered. I remembered the man I fell in love with. I told you I was going to marry, didn't I, Mr. Dollar?
You met him in Seven Oaks?
Yes. He told me he lived in London. And I felt like a child. I'd never gotten to know anyone who lived in London. When you're born in Penrith, you never do. He was so nice. He could talk so I could listen all night.
Did he question you concerning Mrs. Scott?
He took me to London. And he told me he wanted to marry me. And I believed him.
Millie, we're sorry.
I wanted a husband the same as every girl. But he was lying. He knew I was a servant. And he found out about things.
Then, inadvertently, you told him about the entertainment Tuesday night.
The party? He said he was going to come. I left the rear door unlocked because I was going to give him some refreshments. I thought he hadn't come. But he had. He lied to me. That's why I killed him.
You went to London last night?
Yes. He told me to leave London. He told me to go back to Penrith. Then I knew that he'd lied to me and that he'd stolen the jewelry. He called me a stupid country girl. And that's when I hit him. I hit him and hit him. Because it was true. That's all I am. A servant. And I'll never be anything else.
Expense account item 2, miscellaneous, $317.75. Item 3, same as item 1, transportation back to Hartford. Expense account total, $1,182.75. Remarks? The jewelry was recovered, but in spite of its value, that didn't seem too important. The importance, as I saw it, lay in the complete reversal of values. Mildred Hankey, who only wanted goodness, had found badness. And Marcella Scott? Marcella Scott left for Capri the following day. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Gil Dodd with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Edmund O'Brien can soon be seen in the Paramount Pictures production Warpath. Featured in tonight's cast were John McIntyre, Ben Wright, Tudor Owen, Jeanette Nolan, and Virginia Gregg. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Dan Cubberly inviting you to join us next week at this time when Edmund O'Brien returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Tonight's the last Bing Crosby show of the season on CBS. What's more, Ken Murray, his pretty blonde songbird, Laurie Anders, and folk singer Burl Ives are all on hand to help the groaner ring down the curtain. Stay tuned for the Bing Crosby Show next on most of these same CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Lieutenant Garcia, Johnny. Are the boys in the police car still there?
There are 3 police cars here now. They've searched the apartment house from top to bottom.
Any luck?
No, Eddie got away. I didn't dare make a move to stop him. He was going to shoot his sister.
Well, we'll get him, Johnny. Don't worry about it.
I don't intend to. My job now is to locate $100,000 worth of stolen furs, not to go after Eddie Monty.
It's the same job, isn't it?
Probably. Did you see that list of his friends Carla gave me?
I just put out an APB to bring them in.
Good. They weren't all in on that warehouse robbery, but some of them were.
If they were, we'll tag them. We've got an interrogation room down here to sort the sheep from the goats.
Yeah, I know. But first you got to catch your goats.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Los Angeles, California. To the Home Office, Mono Guarantee Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, the Silver Blue matter. Expense account continued. Item 12, 2 cents for the way I felt. I hung up the phone and walked to the window, stood there looking out into the street. The police were leaving the apartment to carry their search for fugitive Eddie Monty into wider territory. And Eddie's sister, Carla, sat huddled in a corner, forlorn, beaten, broken-hearted. From the window, too, the view was anything but cheerful. Dirty, cluttered streets lined by row on row of sagging tenements, drab and gray in the weakening light of late afternoon. This was the slums that had spawned Eddie Monty, raised and nurtured him, made him into a member of a gang, and had now sent him fleeing from the police with a gun in his hand. And the same slum had bred the others of the gang who'd robbed a warehouse of 80 silver blue mink coats, slugged night watchman Albert Grisman into a near-death coma, and had murdered a man who'd tried to give them away.
Why, Johnny? What got into him? Why is he ending up this way?
I wish I could tell you, Carla.
I did something wrong. That's it, of course, but what?
Forget it. You did all you could.
It wasn't enough.
Well, sometimes nothing is enough. And nobody knows exactly why.
I loved him. I never thought of him as just a nuisance of a kid brother, the way a lot of girls do.
Now, look. You did more than anybody could expect. You were a pretty young kid when your folks died. Too young to have to take on the responsibility of raising a teenage brother.
But I tried. I tried hard. And I thought I was doing all right until lately. But now there's...
So it didn't work. And what's happened is breaking your heart. Well, that can't be changed. But just remember this one thing. You did the best you could. And that's all anybody can do. So don't blame yourself.
Tell me something, Johnny.
Yeah?
You're wearing a gun. I don't think Eddie knew it when he ran from here. Maybe you couldn't have used it to disarm him.
Not when he was on the verge of killing you.
But you could have drawn it and killed him. He was careless. He gave you several chances. Why didn't you?
I don't know.
Thank you, Johnny.
I'd like to look through Eddie's room, if you don't mind.
All right. I'll go with you. This way. It's down the hall.
Thanks.
Oh, somehow I still can't believe it. Not the killing, at least. Eddie is just not that kind.
Well, a kid gets under pressure sometimes and gets pushed overboard. Maybe we'll know more when they pick him up.
What if he tries to resist arrest?
You know the answer to that.
Oh, I hope he doesn't. Well, here it is. This has been Eddie's room since he was 13. It ought to tell something.
The main thing at the moment is to find something that tells where he might go to hide out. And I've also got $100,000 worth of furs to locate.
Well, you go ahead and look around. Whatever you want.
Okay, thanks.
I'll be in the living room. You call me if you want me.
For the sake of company, I switched on a beat-up record player in the corner. And I looked at 6 years of a boy's life, accumulated in one room. Comic books, hot rod magazines, school mementos, knickknacks, photographs. Junk mostly to anybody but the owner. I went through all of it, then through the drawers and chest and through his clothes. Nothing. I looked over the photographs stuck in the mirror tacked on the wall. Some of the names on the boys' pictures were the same as those on the list Carla had given to the police. There were a few pictures of girls and a lot of pictures of hot rods. I picked up an envelope of loose photographs lying on the dresser. They were views of a second-hand panel truck, and in all of the pictures, Eddie was standing beside the truck with obvious pride of ownership. One of the views showed the front license plate. I turned the envelope over. The film had been developed less than 2 weeks before. I called Carla back into the room and asked her about it.
No, I didn't know he had a car, or a truck, rather.
It may not be his, but I'll lay odds that it is. That look on his face is a dead giveaway.
I don't know. He sure kept it a secret. He never brought it here once.
Do you recognize the background in those pictures?
No, I don't. It looks like a storage yard or an industrial place of some kind, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd call it that. Do you mind if I take these with me?
Of course not. But why?
The gang had to use something to haul those furs away from the warehouse.
But if Eddie was keeping the truck a secret from me, it was because he was planning to use it for the robbery.
That one or some other one.
Johnny, he was in on it all along.
Look, Carla, I've got a hunch Eddie is the leader of that gang.
Oh, no.
I think the truck was used in the robbery, and I think when we find it, we'll find the furs, and we'll find Eddie. See you later, Carla. Expense account item 13, $1.85. Taxi fare from Carla's apartment to the police headquarters office of Lieutenant Garcia.
Come in. Oh, Johnny, I've been trying to locate you.
Oh, what's up?
We picked up 2 of those kids on Carla Monte's list. Friends of Eddie's.
Wow, that's a start.
Not with one of them. He's in the clear. Perfect alibi. We have something on the other one, though. Want to help me talk to him?
Yeah, sure. Oh, say, here are some photographs I picked up in Eddie's room a while ago. We should take a look at them, Garcia.
All right, let's see them.
The pictures were taken about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, if this truck is his sister doesn't know about it.
Yeah, he sure got that owner look on his face.
Yeah, he sure has. That second one there shows the license number, see?
Yeah, I see it. You think they might have used this in the robbery, Johnny?
It's a possibility. And we're not exactly swamped with angles. I was wondering, too, if you happen to recognize that background behind the truck.
No, but it looks like it might be down in that area somewhere, the warehouse district.
Look, why don't you get some copies made, circulate them, and see if any of your boys can tag the place.
Oh, you insurance dicks do get ideas sometimes.
Oh, you'd be amazed.
All right, I'll do it. And now let's go down and talk to that kid.
Interrogation room 519 was on the 5th floor. Bare walls painted gray, a businesslike room without a doorman or compromise. Furnished only with the necessary table, chairs, and lights. We stopped in the anteroom and looked in through the one-way glass window. The boy waited alone at the interrogation table, trying to put up a tough, defiant front, but failing by the tremble of a lip and the occasional flick of his eyes.
Well, let's go in, get it over with.
The kid stiffened when he heard the door open, but he didn't turn around. He just sat there at the table, braced and waiting.
You can take that chair at the side, Johnny.
Okay, thanks.
What's your name?
You already know it.
I said, what's your name?
Mario Santorres.
That your right name?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Roxman Place, my aunt.
Ever been arrested before, Mario?
No.
You've got kind of a bad memory, haven't you?
Why?
September of last year. Arrest made by Officer C.J. Barton. Charge, possession of stolen articles. Hubcap, 2 auto radios, 1 camera.
I wasn't convicted.
I asked if you'd ever been arrested, not convicted.
It was a frame-up. I didn't have any evidence.
No, apparently not. Witnesses for the prosecution refused to testify. Case dismissed. Here, what are you going to claim this time, Mario? Another frame-up?
I don't know why you brought me in here. I don't know anything about anything.
That bad memory again,
I just don't know what you're talking about.
It's lucky for us that Eddie Monty had such a good memory, isn't
Yes.
What about Eddie? Huh? What do you mean?
Is he a friend of yours?
I know him.
He's got a fine memory, that boy. Too bad you can't remember things the way he does.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true, all right. Eddie remembers everything that happened. What he did, what Mario did.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, that's because of your bad memory, Mario. Why, Eddie remembers the name of every boy who was in on that job and just what each one of them did.
What job?
That warehouse robbery. Have you forgotten about that?
I don't know anything about any robbery.
Well, there's been a lot of talk. At least you've heard about it, haven't you?
I don't know anything about it.
Maybe you've just forgotten.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When did you see Eddie last?
I don't remember.
Have you seen him since the robbery?
No.
How can you be sure? You said you hadn't heard of any robbery.
Well, I haven't.
Still, you haven't seen Eddie since the robbery.
Well,
Come on, Mario. Tell us about it.
I guess maybe I did hear about it.
So?
Well, why shouldn't I hear? It was in the papers. Everybody's been talking about it, so what if I did hear it? I don't prove anything.
But you said you hadn't heard.
So I forgot. Guy can forget something, can't he?
Yeah. If he's got a bad memory, he can.
And Mario's got a real bad memory, Johnny.
Not Eddie, though. He remembers how you guys loaded those furs into his truck. How you waited across the street in Red Weller's until the prowl car passed. How you slugged the night watchman, Albert Christmas.
That's a lie.
How do you know it is, Mario? You don't even remember it. Eddie does, though. He even remembers the next night. When you stabbed Red Weller to death to keep him from coming to me.
No. No, I didn't do that.
Of course you did. You don't think Eddie would lie, do you?
It's not true.
Makes sense to us.
Is Eddie here? You pick him up?
How would we know what he remembers unless we'd picked him up? Now, how do you think we got your name? Out of the telephone book?
It's not true what Eddie says.
Well, if you've got anything to say, we'll listen to it. But I don't think it's necessary, do you, Johnny?
No, I think Eddie remembers everything. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
He's lying! You listen to me. I'll tell you the truth.
I'll get a stenographer.
Now, here's our star to tell you about the final intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a cautious search, an ambush, bullets and tears. And the end is violence. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.